everybody here can easily understand.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of my latest update. Thank you for joining me, and I will get through this as quick as I can for you. There is about 20 steelbooks to go through, quite a few pickups. Really happy to have them in the collection, and hopefully you'll enjoy them too. So let's get started. First up being a film I put up on Facebook. I was trying to get hold of because it's very expensive to get hold of now because it's sold out. It is out of print in this country, but I heard that they're selling the exact same version in France on Amazon France. Went and had a look, and it was €9, and I thought, €9, it's going to be very cheap. It's about 7 or 8, well, less than £7 I think it was, plus postage, which took up to about £10 in all that I got for this for, and it arrived two days after I ordered it, I think it was. And that is The Amazing Spider-Man. I prefer this more than the Spider-Man trilogy. I think Andrew Garfield is a much better Peter Parker. I know other people disagree with that, but that is my opinion. If you disagree, let's talk about it down below. But anyway, Amazing Spider-Man, really nice steelbook, and you know, I swapped the discs out. I've got the 3D version, which is 2 discs, and this is 2 discs, so I thought I'll swap the 3D versions over, put it in there, so I've got a nice Ultimate Edition for myself in here. So the 3D version as well as the 2D version is in here, and the special features. So glad to have this in the collection. You know, it is a really nice steelbook. And as I said, it is exactly the same as the HMV edition, so you know it's not going to make a difference to me. And I know that France seem to release the same editions as us, so it's great. So if I don't get it over here, I can at least try and get it over there. And for £10, very, very cheap compared to the £30–40 people are asking for on eBay or on Facebook or whatever. So there you go. Next one I picked up, which follows that, is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Very nice steelbook, and the only disappointment I have with this is it doesn't come with the 3D version. I did see it in 3D in the cinema, and it wasn't the best 3D I've seen, so I'm not too fussed about it. I would like to have had the 3D version in there, but what can you do, you know? They released this. This was cheaper than the 3D version anyway, so I thought I'd pick this up, and it's a nice steelbook, so glad to have it. Next up is a film I thoroughly enjoy. It is very, very silly. It is really not to be taken seriously, and if you do take it seriously, then you're not going to enjoy it, like I've already said about certain films. I've got this last month on Amaray, and I think I paid more on the Amaray second hand than I paid for this, because it was very, very cheap. So I have actually got the Amaray going up for grabs if anyone would like to get hold of it. You know, so let me know. You know, give a private message or whatever. But that is Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Very, very funny film. I watched a sequel to this the other week. Funny and stupid, but not as good as this. I just thought this was much better, and the cast seemed a bit more comfortable in this one than they did in the next one. But still very, very funny, and I'm glad to have this. It is quite a nice little steelbook. Paramount do nice releases, so very good, very nice. Glad to have it. Next up is a film I was a bit weary about getting hold of. I really enjoy the Jackass films. I really do. I just don't know. I think again I grew up in that generation where I was just into Jackass, and I really do thoroughly enjoy the Jackass films. And they released this. I'm not a big fan of the skits in the Jackass films of this character, but I've heard very good things about this, and I liked the steelbook. It was going cheap, and I thought, for the price it was going from the entertainment store and how limited it is, I thought I would get hold of it. And I haven't watched it yet. I am looking forward to checking it out. That is Bad Grandpa. Johnny Knoxville is very funny. He's very talented, so definitely willing to give this a try. I heard it's in the style of more like Borat and stuff like that, going around and pranking instead of just doing like separate skits. So I've heard it's kind of like a little bit of a road movie, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. I do like it. I do like Johnny Knoxville, so definitely worth trying. Anyway, next up, I have the new trilogy in steelbook, and I have the first one in steelbook, and I thought I have to get hold of this. I stupidly missed out when it went on sale on the Sainsbury's store, and it went to £6, and I wish I'd picked it up. I stupidly didn't. But I managed to get this for £10, brand new, still sealed, off eBay, which was a surprise to me, seeing as I can't find it anywhere. And that is Batman Returns steelbook. You know, it is a very nice steelbook, and it goes very well with my collection. You know, it's not as good as the first one, I think, but it's still very enjoyable. And again, glad to have it going with my Batman still, so glad to have it. That then prompted me, because I am a bit of a completist that way, unfortunately. I wanted to have the others on steelbook, so I got Batman Forever. You can see that on steelbook. Again, very cheap off the entertainment store. The only thing that annoys me about this is that it has Batman on the front and the logo, logo on the back for some weird unknown reason. Sorry about the glare. I don't know why this one is different. I don't know why they did the logos on the front for all the others, but not this one. It really is a weird one for me. I don't know. If anyone knows, let me know. I just would like to know what that's about. But I picked up Batman Forever. Not as good as the other two, but still an enjoyable film, and Jim Carrey in this is fantastic. And obviously, because I wanted to complete my collection, I got probably one of my worst films I have in my collection. But I wanted to complete it because I like Batman, I guess, and that was Batman and Robin. Obviously, you saw that one coming. Not a great film, but as I've said in previous statements, that it is a film to watch when you're ill, because it just makes you laugh and appreciate how crap it is. So yeah, definitely glad to have it completing my Batman steelbook collection, because I've got all the Batmans in steelbook now, apart from obviously the cartoon one, movies they released. But I'm glad to have this. At least it completes my collection, and I am completist that way. It is sad, I know, but what can we do? The next film I picked up was ridiculously cheap. I'm glad I didn't get it when it was going for £15–16 when it was first released. I saw this on Zavvi on their sale for £4.99, and now has sold out. I'm guessing because of that price, and that is Beverly Hills Cop. Eddie Murphy. Such a funny film. Great 80s flick. Really enjoyed the second one as well. I would like them to release the second one in steelbook. I'm not fussed if they do the third, because the third is poor compared to these two. But this is a great film and a very, very funny film. If you haven't seen this, I mean, not many people are a fan of Eddie Murphy now, but if you haven't seen this, this is some of his better work. Definitely worth a try. This is probably the most expensive one I've got, because this is, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which seems to charge ridiculous money, even though I don't get why they're doing it. But it's, you know, a nice steelbook, and that is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. The only thing I don't like is the spine where they put the characters on. I'd rather have the title, since they don't have the title on the front. But it is a minor issue that I'm just going to get past, because I'm 30. Who cares about a spine, I guess? But yeah, it's a really nice steelbook, and it comes with the 3D version. A surprise hit for me, and one of my favourite films of this year, I think. Very good action thriller, I'd say. It's more of an action thriller than a comic. It is a comic book film, but it's more of an action thriller, and probably one of the better Marvel films of Phase 2. In fact, I think it's the best of Phase 2. And that's going to annoy people who have seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy and thoroughly enjoyed it, but I preferred this. Next up, I recently watched my first foreign film. I know I got a lot of flack from a couple of friends and from Maticus too for not knowing much about foreign cinema. I'm not really into it. You know, at the end of the day, I like to sit there and enjoy the film and not have to try and pay attention to the subtitles, because it's just one of those things. If I'm reading the subtitles, I'm not watching the film. I'd rather watch the film. But the film I watched that opened my eyes to a bit of foreign cinema is The Raid, and I talked about it on my Facebook page, and I absolutely loved it. Fantastic film. Can't wait to see the second one. But when I obviously said I'd only seen The Raid, a couple of my mates back from Liverpool, or one of my mates who were very good friends with back in the day, said, "I can't believe that's the first film you've ever seen," and gave me a list of foreign films that I should definitely watch. And obviously, understanding that I'm not a fan of reading subtitles, said that this one requires not a lot of reading, but is a fantastic film. And it was going very, very cheap on Zavvi for £6, I think it was, and that is City of God. Haven't checked this out yet. I am looking forward to checking it out, because I've since looked at reviews on this, and it is fantastic from what I've seen. And it is also a limited number. I think it was 1,000 or 2,000. I got copy number 193, I think it is, if you can see that. But anyway, glad to have this, and it is actually a really nice looking steel. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out, because again, it's been recommended very highly by a couple of my friends, so I'm looking forward to giving this a go, especially the Raid 2 as well. Another film I picked up, again one of the more expensive on my list because it hasn't gone down yet, and it did sell out but then came back, and that is Sylvester Stallone in Cliffhanger. Really did enjoy this film when I was a kid. Great action film for me. We started to see the decline in Sylvester Stallone's work after this, I think, but this was a very enjoyable film. You know, starred John Lithgow and Michael Rooker as well, who are great actors, and it was just silly, but it was fun. And, you know, you want a bit of fun. You want to watch some fun sometimes, and you know, it's a nice steel. It's not great. I prefer it more than the Amaray cover, so I'm glad to have it, and I wanted to get it. So it is one of my favourite action films of the early 90s anyway. Next up is a film I saw in the cinema and thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure it's going to look fantastic on Blu-ray, and again going very, very cheap, so I thought I would like to get it because I sold the DVD, planning to get the Blu-ray, and it was cheaper than the actual Amaray, so I thought pick up on this instead, and that is The Day After Tomorrow. Fun film, silly premise, but some great actors and some great set pieces in it. So I was surprised by this because I saw the trailer for it years and years ago, and obviously when it came out I was thinking this is going to be awful. Went in and it was actually fun. I think going in with that opinion that it was going to be awful helped, because it was much better than I thought it was going to be. Next up is probably one of my favourites of the 5. I'd say it's my third favourite of the 5. Third favourite of the 5. I've got the 3rd and 5th on the Steelbook. I just don't have 1 and 2 now on Steelbook. I missed out on it, and I'm gutted about that because I can't even find it on eBay anymore, and they're just ridiculous money. But that is Die Hard 4.0. Yes, I know they toned it down, but I still think this is more enjoyable than the 5th and more enjoyable than the 2nd. The 2nd is fun, but it's exactly the same. It's just Die Hard in an airport, and this was a little bit more different, and I like Timothy Olyphant as an actor. I think he's fantastic, so he was good. They could have just made it a little bit more violent, but they didn't. But it was enjoyable. I remember watching this at cinema and thinking this is fun, so glad to have this, and I would love to complete my steelbooks of this, but I don't think it's going to happen. So, but yeah, I've got the first two on Amaray, so it doesn't matter that much. Next up is another one I wanted to complete, especially when I heard it was coming out. This was the first of the. I actually saw this first. I think with same as Orton Productions, I saw this first before I actually saw the original, because the original came out when I was born. I was too young to obviously see it then. I was just getting into the cartoon series at the time it was released, so obviously saw this at the cinema, and that is Ghostbusters 2. Very fun film. I do prefer the first one, but this is fun, and it is a good film. It's obviously not as well received as the first, but you know, it was never going to be. I think they did a great job with what they had, and it was fun. And again, it's Ghostbusters, you know. Who doesn't love Ghostbusters, especially from the 80s? I mean, I'm an 80s kid, you know. It's one of those things. I love Ghostbusters just like I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But yeah, Ghostbusters, and it's a lovely steelbook, nice and shiny and glossy, and it goes with my Ghostbusters steelbook, so I'm glad to have it. Next one is a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I've seen the new version they've done that came out this year. The new version was a little bit slow, but very, very enjoyable. There was a few little bits in it that I did not enjoy, but I will leave that for another time, because I guarantee I'll probably get it on Blu-ray at some point. This is just stupid fun. Some people have said it shouldn't be called a Godzilla film, and they're probably right, because Godzilla looks nothing like it, and it is silly. It should just be a monster film. I think if they'd released this just as a monster film, it may have fared a little bit better, because it was silly, and it's not great, but it is a guilty pleasure for me. I like it. I saw it when I was 14, so this is when you're 14, you think everything's great, I think. So I just enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing this in mastered in 4K. I know I don't have a 4K TV, but the picture will look great, so I'm looking forward to watching this anyway. Next up is a Quentin Tarantino film. I don't have many of his steelbooks. I should say that I have 3 or 4 of his steelbooks. But again, this was going so cheap on Zavia. I thought I'd want to pick it up. It's now sold out, I think. I'll have to double check that. I think it has. But that is Jackie Brown. Underrated compared to some of his other films, but a fun film to say the least. I watched this a long time ago, and I remember thoroughly enjoying it, especially after I watched Pulp Fiction. I really enjoyed Pulp Fiction, and I enjoyed this. So it is more underrated films compared to what he has now, because he's got Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, and all that. So it was nice to pick this up, and especially for the price I got it for. And it's definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen Jackie Brown, do try and give it a go, because it's definitely more of a heist-ish film, and it was enjoyable. And Pam Grier is good in this. I mean, I don't know many Pam Grier's films, but she's very good in this. And you know, it has got a fantastic cast: Samuel L. Jackson, Bridget Fonda, Robert De Niro. I think Michael Keaton's in it as well. It's a great cast, and definitely worth a watch. Now, this one I wanted to get hold of. I cancelled it, and then I thought I'll wait till it goes cheaper, because it will, and it did. I then forgot it went cheap and missed out, and it sold out. I then looked on eBay and saw it was going for the exact same price, brand new. So I kind of looked out with it. I've since watched it. I prefer the original. I have to say I prefer the first one. This one is very silly, but the cast in it are very good. Mel Gibson for me is the standalone member of cast in that, I think. I mean, Danny Trejo is great in most of the stuff he does, but this was silly. But again, you can't take it seriously. If you do take it seriously, you're not going to enjoy it. And that is Machete Kills. It's a nice steelbook, and it goes with my Machete steelbook that I have. I am a little bit weary now of this next one they're doing, which I think is Machete Kills again. I don't know if they're going to make it, because I don't think this fared as well as they'd hoped. If they do make it, I'll definitely check it out. But especially seeing the direction it's going to take, it makes me think Jason X and stuff like that, and Leprechaun in space, and I'm a little bit, we'll see. But yeah, this was fun. You know, again, don't take it seriously, but it's a nice steelbook, goes well with my collection, and you know, some good actors in it, some very good actors in it, and it was silly, but I say I definitely preferred Machete to this, because it just was more fun for me. Another film I've picked up, and I'm not too bothered if I'm going to get the other 2 after it, because they're not available still, but I know they're available in Arrow, but I just can't stand them compared to this one. This for me is the standalone film. I don't care about the second. The second one's alright, but the third one was awful, and that is The Matrix. They're absolutely fantastic films. Again, for the time, it was amazing to watch, and you know, it's set a new standard for films. And obviously, it's been copied so much with the bullet time and all that. But it is a very good film, and it was enjoyable. The acting was good, and it got worse in the second and third. So if I do pick them up, it will just be standard Arrow, because this is the ultimate version for me, and I don't want the box set. I'll just get them very cheap, probably with CX or something. But yeah, this is definitely worth it, and I got this very cheap as well. Another one I got very cheap, I saw on Facebook that the eBay store, the entertainment store on eBay were doing this very cheap, and it was cheaper on there than it was on the actual entertainment store on Play, which didn't make much sense to me. And this is a film starring Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, Robert Downey Jr. and Tommy Lee Jones, and that is Natural Born Killers, a lovely steelbook and a very interesting film. I mean, I never watched this a long time ago, and I was a big fan of Cheers, and Woody Harrelson could have been so typecast in this film, or typecast as an actor, because of his role in Cheers, and he just came out and did this, and it just right after Cheers, and blew everyone away. He is one of my favourite actors at the moment. You know, he's amazing in True Detective. He's amazing in most of the films he's in. He is such a range that he does. You know, he can do serious, he can do comedy. He is amazing. And this, for me, he's a complete nutcase in. And it was a weird film. I remember sitting back and thinking, what is going on in some of it? But you know, some of the opening sequence and stuff where they're in Juliette Lewis's, I think it's Valerie or whatever her name is, in her parents' house. That's just weird. That's a weird scene, but I just remember watching it thinking this is a really good film, and it is very well acted. And again, I'm looking forward to checking this out on Blu-ray, seeing what it's like. And again, it was very, very cheap. I think it's $10.99 now. It was $8.99 when I got it. It's $10.99 now. So maybe if you're interested, it's a nice steelbook. So definitely get it. Now this is in my top 10 films of all time. I was a little bit disappointed with the release that they did in the end when I got it. It's an okay steelbook. It's a shame because they could have done a really nice steelbook for it, but I wanted it because I wanted a limited edition version of this film for myself, for my collection, because I really do enjoy this film. It's one of my favourite films and horror films, and that is Scream. It's the first horror I ever watched, and I'm glad to have it in the collection as a steelbook. A very limited run. The title annoys me. It really does annoy me, but I just get past it because I do love this film. I'm sure, I reckon it could probably go down in price, so I'm a little bit annoyed I bought it when I did, because it did sell out and it's come back again, but oh well. It's one of those things, I just have to accept it. But again, I love Scream, and I wanted this in my collection just because I wanted the limited edition release of it, so glad to have it. Another film I got that went really, really cheap, and is one I wanted just because of the actors in it, and it's an enjoyable film. It's a Guy Ritchie film. It's not, so you know, it's not the ultimate version of this character for me. He plays him excellently, but the ultimate version for me is the BBC TV series, and that is Sherlock Holmes. Robert Downey Jr. in this is fantastic, and obviously so is Jude Law. I'm not a fan of Jude Law, but he is good in this. Very fun film, very action-packed. Obviously not what Sherlock Holmes is, but you know, he got the character. Robert Downey Jr. got the character. He understood the character and did a fantastic job with it. And it is a fun film, and it's definitely worth it. But I stupidly ordered this, and then my wife ordered me a copy as well, because I joked about getting it because it was so cheap, and she got me it as a gift, and I then ordered it realising she'd done it. So I've actually got two copies. So if anyone would like to get that copy from me, let me know in the messages down below, or whatever, or PM me or whatever. It is still sealed, comes with the UV code, and I will send it protected to you. So let me know, and we'll sort something out. But yeah, Sherlock Holmes. The next film is a stupid film for me, but I love the creators of what they do with South Park. You know, again, this is very stupid, and it probably has offended thousands of people, but you know, the thing with them is they go for everyone, so you can't really, at least they don't, just go for one person all the time. But that is Team America World Police. Funny film, and it, in the style of obviously Stingray and how the hell have I forgotten it? Thunderbirds. How the hell did I forget Thunderbird? But in the style of that, it's a dirty Thunderbirds basically. It's fun. It's stupid. Again, very, very cheap, and I wanted to get this in Blu-ray, so I thought this was cheaper than the actual Amaray. Get it on this instead. Might as well have something limited, and it is now sold out, so I'm glad I did. The last two steelbooks I got, I put up asking. I have the first one. I then got the third because it went really, really cheap because I missed out on the second one, and I thought, as a completist, I want to get the second one. So the second one I put up asking for it, and someone had it on eBay. I got it, didn't get it as cheap as I was hoping, especially because Movie Cave Dave then about 3 or 4 days later put up a list of steelbooks he was selling, and he had it in there, and it was cheaper, and I was gutted, but I'd already paid for this, and it was just one of those things I just have to accept. And that is Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Pure mayhem, yes, it's not as good as the first one, and it is a little bit silly and stupid in areas, but again, it's a film about alien robots, so why people take this so seriously, I do not know. It is fun, it is a load of action, and yes, it gets silly at some points, but it is a fun film, and I enjoy it. It's a lot of action, so might as well enjoy it. And obviously, mentioning that, the other one I picked up for very, very cheap I was having, and that was A Dark of the Moon. Still, because I wanted to complete the steals I had. I've also ordered or pre-ordered the entertainment store version of Age of Extinction. I think the 3D version of it, because I just like having the 3D copy, which I've now realised they're not doing a 2D copy with it, which is a little bit weird. I don't know why they're doing that, but anyway, Dark of the Moon. I prefer this more than the second one. It is a little bit long, but again, don't take this seriously. It is a film about alien robots. Just watch it and enjoy it. I'm not a fan of Transformers TV series or cartoon, but I am a fan of these films, so I don't care. People can slate me for it all they want. And that is my pickups for this month. You know, thank you so much to you guys for watching. I know it's in 2 parts again. Hopefully my next video will only be a bit small. It will be smaller because I haven't got the money now to get loads and loads of copies of things. So it will be a case of smaller videos, hopefully shorter as well, which will be nice. But yeah, 50 or so copies there, or 50 copies, 50 or so Blu-rays there for you. Hope you enjoyed the video anyway. As I say, a massive thank you to A Guy with a Camera, La La Love Medicine, Autumn Productions, Paul McGrory, and Wolfman's Got Nards. Their links are down below, apart from Paul McGrory, because I don't think he has a YouTube channel. But thank you so much to, you know, for your trades, for the sleeve that you did, and for, you know, just for the gifts. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I will be coming back very, very soon with probably a quick little tour around the room. You know, it's not going to be massive. I may include, if people want to see it, I may include, let me know in the box down below, an actual collection overview, and obviously showing my favourite versions of things. I won't pull everything out because that just takes forever. It's just easier to go over it and then just show you some of my favourite films in there anyway. And obviously just a quick overview of what I've done to the room, because I'm happy with it. And also, Horror Movie Month will be back next month. I want to get into doing some more reviews. I enjoy doing reviews. I hope you guys enjoy my reviews, but yeah, I'm going to start off with Horror Movie Month. I'm going to be reviewing a few films that I haven't seen yet, that I've picked up over the last few months of horror, and I really, really, really want to watch. It won't be a lot. I know a lot of people are doing like one every day. I can't do that just because of work. I work a lot of nights, so I just will not be able to do that. And obviously I have my son in the day, so I'll be doing probably about maybe 7 or 8 videos of films I haven't seen yet that I'm really looking forward to checking out. And I may include just quickie reviews of other horror films I do watch, which I won't go into depth about because they may have been ones I've already viewed and done. Probably including that will be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Guys, thank you so much for checking these videos out. I recently hit 200 subscribers, and now I think I'm 211, so thank you again for subscribing, for watching, putting up with my face on your computer screens or phones or whatever. Thank you for checking it, taking the time to watch these videos. I love doing it. I'm going to keep on doing it, and I say I will be doing a movie overview or collection overview in the next video probably, and a quick tour around the room. So it'll be a tour around the room, then an overview. I'll get that done in the next week or so, and that will be up next week. Thank you for watching. I know this has gone on a little bit longer than I intended, but I really appreciate it. You guys, take it easy, you take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.